So, fellas, Amari Cooper sat down with NFL Network the other day, and he talked about that basically, him and Jerry Jeudy is off to a strong start with building that relationship, that they use a lot of flashcards during their studying. And he also said that he believes that the Cleveland Browns have a dynamic trio at the wide receiver position. So the question, are you buying what Amari is selling?
I think it depends, at least in my eyes, how you want to classify dynamic. Because on paper, and if you look at the skill sets that each of these three receivers bring to the table, yeah, I think you can say they could be a dynamic wide receiver trio.
Are we assuming that the third is Elijah Moore?
Yes.
Okay.
In this instance, the third is Elijah Moore. Amari Cooper's coming off the best season of his career last year. Jerry Jeudy's a former first-round pick who is now in the best position he's been in throughout his NFL career to succeed. Elijah Moore understands what's at stake here going into a contract season, coming off a disappointing last season in terms of what Browns fans expected from him. They have the potential to be dynamic in my mind, Tyvis, but until we see that potential turn into production on Sundays, I can feel good about them. I can't feel great about them. That's how I look at this.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, when you look at skill set wise, you're right. Amari Cooper, best route runner in the game. Jerry Jeudy is a really good route runner, a very shifty guy that can really shake up a DB if he's checking him. And then you got Elijah Moore, who's very explosive at times, and he had moments last year where it seemed like things clicked for him, but it just wasn't consistent enough. If they could consistently get on the same page, Amari Cooper stays healthy, the connection between Deshaun and Jerry Jeudy is there, and Elijah Moore actually runs the routes at 10 yards instead of 11 yards, then I think that, yes, you will have something special, because one-on-one, these guys can consistently win their one-on-one matchups. Even when Elijah Moore, even though he struggled last year, he did win a lot of one-on-one reps, and maybe the ball didn't get to him, or maybe it was overthrown or something like that. Or like I said, he ran the route just a little bit too far. So he has what it takes to win those routes. They have to do it consistently to be considered dynamic. But that also comes with the play calls and the protection, and it ultimately comes down to number 4.
How high do they have to rank? And I hate rankings, but I'm going to play along.
I have the answer for you, by the way. I have 4 different rankings of wide receiver groups.
Of course you do.
Because I looked this up. I was going to bring this up. So, PFF, heading into 2024, ranked
they gotta be
the
at
wide
least
receiver
top
groups.
10.
They said where?
I said got to be at least top 10, right?
PFF had 18th.
18? Sheesh.
Sharp Football, which included tight ends, had them 13th.
Okay.
USA Today had them 19th. CBS Sports had them 17th. So middle of the pack.
That's not dynamic.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I
That's
think
kind of where I was going, is they're not top 10.
Yeah,
they're
not-
not, like, let's be, can we come back to earth? This is not a top 10.
I gotta look at this. Hold on.
All right,
you
here.
said at least top 10. Like I don't think you can make a case top 10.
I gotta look.
All right, here's CBS, okay, because I just pulled this up real quick.
Give me.
Number 1, according to CBS this year, Houston.
No.
And they have legit dynamic playmakers.
I'm-
Collins,
it's nothing to
Stephon
argue.
Diggs,
It's
Tank
nothing to
Dell.
argue.
Yeah.
That's number 1. Number 2, Chicago. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen,
And Rome
and
Odunze.
Rome Odunze.
It's pretty damn good, too.
3, Miami.
Pretty good.
Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Odell.
If he plays.
4, Cincinnati.
Pretty good.
Jamar, T. Higgins, and Trenton Irwin.
See,
And the
but
rookie they just drafted.
all of these is the same. Everybody has 2, and they're dependent on the third one, except Houston.
Would you take the Browns over any of those teams that I just mentioned, those threesomes?
No.
So,
No.
Okay, let's keep going. San Francisco, 5.
No.
Ayuk, Debo.
I don't even need, you don't even
Yep.
need to listen. No.
Philly, 6.
No.
Tampa Bay, 7. Mike Evans, Godwin.
No.
Seattle, 8.
Dang, no.
DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett.
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yep.
Here we go.
Minnesota, 9.
Addison Jefferson.
You can
Addison
talk me
Jefferson.
into it.
Justin Jefferson's so
You
good
can,
by
no, who the
Justin
third?
Jefferson,
Who the
Addison,
third one?
Trent Sheffield.
You can talk me into it.
10, Rams. Cooper Kupp, Puka.
Nah, you
And
can't
that one.
talk me into that one.
Okay, well, now we're to 11. Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Jalen Tolbert.
You can talk me into it.
And 12, Titans. DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd.
And they have Traylon Burks as their fourth receiver.
That's more of a solid one.
Are they still dynamic? Are the Browns?
You can talk me into a couple of them.
With some bribing?
Talk me into. No, I mean.
To Tyvis's point, if you get the best versions of Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore, yeah, I think they can crack into the back end of the top 10. I do, because you're looking at a guy in Jerry Jeudy who was a first-round pick, who was picked before Justin Jefferson.
Has he got 1,000 yards?
And CeeDee Lamb. He has not had a 1,000-yard season yet, but he now has a chance in a new offense with hopefully a healthy Deshaun Watson and a competent running game outside of Denver to put up his best numbers. You hope Elijah Moore can get and turn into the player we saw in training camp last year, where we all came into the 2023 season saying, is Elijah Moore maybe their most important player? We were all sorely wrong on that one. No one more wrong than the man sitting 2 seats to my right because of how high he was on Elijah Moore. However, he does have all the physical traits and abilities you want from a number 3 receiver, and if he can live up to the second-round status he was drafted with, he could be a dynamic, electric third playmaker in this passing offense. So by the end of the season, I think we can look back at these and say, yeah, the Browns ended up with a top 10 receiving core, and to Earl's initial question, a truly dynamic receiving core. But a lot of it right now is just potential and not production. And we have to see that first P turn into the second P for us to eventually put them and rank them appropriately in the top 10.
I'll buy top half. I'll buy top half of the league. I will.
By the end of the season
15,
or right now?
Right now.
Yeah,
15, 16.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
14,
what they are.
13, 12.
Okay.
I'm not going to the top 10. Not over those. And that's not dynamic to me. If you're not top 10 in the league, how are you really dynamic? That's 33% basically. 33%.
Yeah. Top 8 is the top quarter of the league.
Yeah.
When we got to 11, you could talk me into it.
Well, okay, but that's 33%. There's 33%.
You know how many people wish they was in the top 33%?
Of course.
Yeah, the other
yes.
67%.
Yes, of course.
Listen, I don't know if FanDuel has yes or no on Jerry Judy's 1,000-yard season or what the numbers would be, but I'd put some coin down that he'd get 1,000.
On the over?
Yeah.
Your standard $10?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's certainly plausible. Like, I don't think any of us would sit up here the day after the season ends, and if we were ranking the best receiving cores of 2024, assuming health, that the Browns are in that group. Like, they have the potential. They just have to actually produce at that
but let
level.
me ask you this, because see, this plays a factor into it. Due to the fact that the Browns, when Kevin Stefanski was running his stuff, they ran the ball at a nice clip. Mm-hmm. Now that Ken Dorsey is making it more, I know Kevin's still calling the plays, but now that there's more of a passing emphasis, y'all don't think that they can put up big numbers?
That's what I'm saying. They have the potential to. They just have to
I
produce
feel like if Deshaun stays healthy and the receivers stay healthy, yes, they will be top 10.
But right now, today, as we sit here today,
I don't have enough evidence.
That's my point.
I don't know what the quarterback hasn't been healthy. Jerry Jeudy hasn't.
Tyvus is saying exactly what we're saying without saying it.
In a different dialect.
I just don't. It's not
from a
fair.
player's standpoint.
It's not fair.
We're coming out from the media side. And
yeah, right.
From
it's
the
not
side.
fair to say this statement. What's the question? What are you asking?
Nobody says they stink. Nobody's saying the receivers stink.
The question is, are they a dynamic trio?
Yeah.
Are they currently, right now, today, a dynamic trio, or do they have the potential, Tyvus, to be a dynamic trio?
Well, you can't say that right now, currently they are, because...
Thank you! That's what we've been saying! God! Only took 11 minutes to get it out of them.
Finish your sentence, Tyvus.
I don't want to say it.
I don't like when people cut people off, so finish your sentence.
You can't say right now that because they haven't shown that. But if everybody's healthy and if the offense is clicking, yes, they could be one of the best in the league. Yes.
Earl, what say you on this? Because it took us 11 minutes to get here, but we're all in exact agreement with our general point.
Y'all saying it wrong. That's the problem. Y'all ain't saying it right.
I think this wide receiver room has the potential to be a top 10 room. It's hard to look at it right now and say, okay, they're a dynamic trio. I think a lot of people, I don't know. I think a lot of people look at Jerry Jeudy and feels like he's not good, but Jerry damn near had 1,000 yards last year with like really anemic quarterback play. He might not to this point he might not have as like kind of lived up to that number 1 draft pick status, but it's not like he's been god awful since he's been in this league.
Nah.
So, playing opposite of Amari, it creates more opportunities. Elijah Moore's second year here in Cleveland, we should see what it looks like with Ken Dorsey at offensive coordinator. But, when you got a guy like David Njoku, who's, to me, the X factor or the wild card in all this, he unlocks opportunities for all three of those dudes to be great. So we'll see. But if Amari says it, I kind of tend to believe it.
It doesn't help for Jerry Judy's sake that the 2 receivers selected after him in that same class were CD and Justin Jefferson.
It does not help.
It just doesn't. And it's not any fault of his own, but those are the expectations that are set when in the same draft class. He was a second receiver. Henry Ruggs was the first one taken.
Do you look at him, dang, Henry Ruggs went first? Man. Oops.
And actually,
they went to the same college, didn't they?
It was both at Alabama. Ruggs, Judy, CD, Rager, Justin Jefferson were the 5 first-round receivers that year.
Worse. First of all, I found out Jerry Jeudy is plus 420 for 1,000 yards on FanDuel, so take that. Secondly, was Jerry Jeudy considered the number 1 in Denver, or was it Cortland Sutton?
I think they had 2 Bs, 2 twos, really. I don't know if they had a bona fide number 1. He was drafted to be said number 1, but he never turned into
it. It felt like Sutton was their number 1.
I agree.
He was more of the red zone threat for sure, Sutton.
But see, the problem with this one is he won't be a number 1 here either.
Which
Not this year,
could be
at
perfect
least.
for him, yeah.
He should have a better number 1 ahead of him, though, and a better quarterback throwing to him.
Which would hopefully raise all tides. And Earl just got in my ear and said we had breaking news. Earl, what's up?